secretly, I want to throw it in his face because I just know it would really bother him. 5 confessions focusing on relationships and those around us. I am in a long-term relationship, but I also want to have relations with other men. I feel guilty writing this. He's the first man I was intimate with. We've been together for more than 8 years. We're a happy couple and I trust him. But every time I mention that I would love to experiment a bit more, he doesn't want to talk about it and is not okay with anything like an open relationship. And I respect that. I don't want to hurt him and will not be unfaithful. But also I feel like I'm missing out. In the end, I guess a stable and happy relationship is more important than intimate experiences. Still, it bothers me. My girlfriend of 3 years suggested an open relationship, and it's been tormenting her ever since. For some context, I'm very sensitive. My first serious girlfriend really, and I mean really, messed me up, and it took a long time to get over it and learn to trust women again. In fact, the first girl I've legitimately trusted and allowed myself to open up to is my current, soon-to-be ex-girlfriend. She knew about this and witnessed firsthand what a cold person I am to other girls before we got together. I was planning on marrying this girl in the not-so-distant future and she seemed over the moon about it. She brought up the idea of an open relationship before we got married and it was official, and my heart immediately sank into my stomach. She was the one girl I didn't expect this from because she supposedly loved me and loved the idea of traditional marriage, kids, etc. She said she reconnected with some old friends recently who aren't too big on boyfriends or husbands, and I think they must have planted the seed. But it killed me nonetheless. All those feelings of anger and betrayal came flooding back, and I don't think I'll ever truly get over it or trust women again as far as I can throw them in the context of a relationship. I sort of just went cold on her when she suggested the idea and said sure. She would have shut it down if she cared anything about my feelings after she saw my reaction, but I guess she didn't. So I downloaded a bunch of dating apps and started reconnecting with some of the girls I used to sleep with and with some of my other scumbag guy friends. 2 of whom are club promoters. I don't think I've stayed at our place for 3 consecutive nights, and I've been openly sleeping with other girls for months now. I can see how the way I'm going about things is devastating for her, but I just don't give a damn anymore. Emotionally speaking, it feels like I've just went back in time. I walked in on her crying in the bathroom several times, but I just walked back out and shut the door. I don't ask her where she goes or who she sees. She's effectively just a roommate at this point, and I think that's what bothers her the most. We still have intimacy, but she's just another girl I am intimate with at this point. It's just something to do on a rainy Sunday afternoon. It doesn't hold any real significance or meaning for me anymore. I would move out and just get a new place, but the lease wouldn't be up for a while and I'm saving money for a house, so just breaking up and moving on isn't a viable option at the moment. I honestly don't think I'll ever take what women say to me at face value, relationship-wise, ever again. All the I love yous just seem like empty words. Fool me twice, shame on me, and all that. It just seems like they'll stab you in the heart or hit you with the "I'm not sure if I have feelings for you anymore" routine at point. I've given up on the idea of permanence as far as relationships go, and I'll probably just find someone to have children and co-parent with at some point. The only people I need in my life to get any real emotional fulfillment, and whom forever applies to, are blood relatives and my 3 best brothers who I've known for over a decade. Everything else is just temporary. Some people have said to me that I should have voiced my disagreement, etc., but I think that would have been pointless. I'm not naive enough to think that she didn't already have someone in mind that she wanted to mess around with. If she hadn't already done anything with him, that is. She knew what my views and history were and still decided to suggest something so disgusting. I mentally checked out of the relationship the moment an open relationship was mentioned. It's the most disrespectful and degrading thing you could possibly say to someone who has a modicum of self-respect. It's borderline cheating in my opinion. No amount of communication would have changed my mind on the subject. I make more money than my husband and I don't want him to know. My soon-to-be ex-husband values money so much that he almost passed up a really good job that would have paid him 6 figures, plus, because it was $5,000 less than the job which had just furloughed him, thanks to COVID. He spent weeks sulking over it too. At the time, I made about $42,000 less than him, and we're in the same industry. I used to make more than him years ago, but as soon as he started making more than me, he started acting like my job wasn't as important as his. He became a dick with an attitude when it came to things like which one of us should take time off to go for appointments or who should stay home with a sick kid, etc. The money had gone to his head. Fast forward to August last year, he unexpectedly left me and our 4 children and moved out. We were devastated. I found out later he left for another woman who he had got pregnant. Eventually, I filed for child support and now he's got to hand over 30% of his income to me. As soon as child support was awarded, I left my old job for a new one where I make more money than he does. Secretly, I want to throw it in his face because I just know it would really bother him. But I don't want to tell him because I know he'd become an even bigger dick than he already has been. I want him to keep thinking I'm barely scraping by. I haven't needed to use a single penny of his child support money. It's all going to a separate bank account for the kid's future and is sitting there untouched. It's like my dirty little secret and it gives me pleasure to be the only one in on it. I can secretly relish in the truth. The strange part is I feel like I'm doing something sinful, even though my state's laws would not change how much he has to pay for child support anyway. As the primary custodial parent, they don't even care how much money I make. I broke up with my girlfriend for another woman last night. I'll preface by saying this may be my insecurity, but women like my GF didn't used to pay attention to me. She's bubbly, beautiful, and fit. She was literally a cheerleader in high school and college. But we have nothing in common, like nothing. She cell phones her way through movies I try to show her. She insists on her Spotify playing in my car because she politely can't stand my music, saying that there's something new she wants to listen to. Maybe she thinks I don't notice that we're cycling through the same 3 playlists. I think she quietly judges me for being agnostic while slowly nudging me towards Christianity. We share no hobbies, except for kickboxing. My gym does serious kickboxing, but still offers cardio kickboxing for exercise. A sparring partner brought up recently that my GF had never given me the time of day until I bought my new truck. I go backpacking on public lands and have been dying to get something with 4-wheel drive. My company actually did better than it ever has during the pandemic. I never treat myself, I could afford it, so why not? Not a gas guzzler, a medium-sized 2021 4-door with all of the extras. But he brings up a good point, she never talked to me. In fact, I thought she didn't like me. I helped my gym with the cardio classes several times and I never caught a whiff of her digging me. But the same week I bought my new vehicle, she started laying it on thick with compliments. She literally did everything but ask me out herself. After a breakup, I'd thrown myself into my work and really hadn't dated seriously in almost 2 years because of COVID. On our first few dates I didn't think she was into me. We went to a brewery and local restaurant that I really dig. But I remember she suggested a restaurant that was easily more than double what I usually pay at what I consider to be a nice restaurant. A place with small portions and no prices on the menu. We went back to my place after that and she was blown away that I own a house. I've had a tech job since I was 17, and my dad left me a small house on some land when he passed that I've fixed up over the years. She treats me like a spoiled rich kid, but I grew up pretty poor. I do most of the house mods myself. And I had to hustle, study, and work for thousands of hours to get the job I have today. We didn't start becoming intimate until she saw the house. We're 10 months in now, and she's been moving a few personal items into my place. I think I need to tell her to pump the brakes on it. She's incessantly bringing up kids and marriage. I don't want kids and I feel like she's politely ignoring that every time I say it. She's also recently started doing this annoying thing where she shames me for not being country enough and leaning left on political issues, even though she's one of those Californians that moved during the pandemic. I'm not a stereotype, I have nuances from topic to topic. Alert the media. I get the feeling that she's been dating broke country boys while she's been out here. She found me and wants to turn me into a country boy because of some Californian fetishized idea. She also does this thing where she talks down to me and tries to explain to me how the world works. Despite the fact that we have comparable amounts of education, she only barely has more dating experience than I do. I have way more technical experience in my trade, and I'm more well off than she is by a large margin. I have a Discord channel with locals that I play with online. A woman from a neighboring county just moved into my city. All of our conversations have been PG and respectful to my relationship, but she speaks to me differently than she does to the other guys. She's been single for a minute, and I'm 95% sure that if I ask her out she'll agree. We have way more in common, our views match up much better, and I suspect that she'll treat me better than my current girlfriend. She had a half day and I took the day off to clear my head and collect her things, and honestly psyche myself up a little bit. I let her know that she was a good person, but I saw us getting more serious and couldn't continue the relationship anymore because of it. She was caught off guard, real deer in the headlights. She seemed to be super understanding and agreed with points I made about our interests and views being different. She was super soft-voiced at first, tried to come at me with that pelvic sorcery even. She pretended to accept the breakup and wanted one last go before she left. She almost got it too, but I knew it would muddy the waters. I told her that, and that's when she got pissed. She was very upset with how thoroughly I'd found and packed her belongings. She insisted on looking through my things for items she was sure she'd left. But I keep a clean house, almost obsessively organized, so I know where everything is, and I'd locked away all important documents and loose valuables over the past few days. She was insulting me the whole time with how she truly felt during our relationship, claiming that I wasn't a real man because I still play video games. That she was sick of hearing about my little bitch ideologies and she wanted a Republican man that could validate her stereotype of what she believes people that don't live in the coasts are really like. Which I thought was funny, because all of the stereotype dates she wanted to go on, like shooting, line dancing, and horseback riding, I was already pretty good at, and she didn't know how to do any of it. And she's a glamper, can't camp anywhere that doesn't have a running water toilet. The intimacy sucked, despite her confessing multiple times that most guys just wanted her physically, and that I was the only guy who asked, and followed through with her needs. That she'd never really come before me because no one would ever spend the time on foreplay to get her going. Not to mention she'd literally just tried to get physical with me minutes before making that statement. That she thought she could make a father out of me, but clearly she was wrong. I'd kept quiet until she said that. Maybe I'd told her that it was nice to meet the real her. I told her that I did want kids, I just didn't want her to be the mother of them. That shut her up. I didn't yell, but I never raised my voice. And I raised it to say that. I told her to leave and she left without saying a word. Like the weight of the world was lifted, I floated through the rest of the day. I messaged the woman from Discord about me welcoming her to the city. We're set to see each other Sunday. One of my high school bullies is dead, and I think he deserved it. I came across a post about the same topic, and it reminded me of this. He died a year and a half ago while in the army, and all my classmates were posting about how they couldn't believe the news and how sad they were. They kept posting pictures with him for a while, so I've removed them from all social media platforms I'm on. He was such a bully. He always harassed me, made innuendos, smoked and exhaled on my face in a berating manner, and I'm pretty convinced he was the one who stole money from my bag when I left it unattended. I was new in the school and left after 8 months of being there, while he and his classmates managed to bond. All of them were bullies, honestly. At the least, they were spreading false information about me, which led to issues, and managed to spread rumors in the new school I moved to as well. Since he died while in the army, his picture hangs among others in a local park. I hate seeing him worshipped and praised for being a hero he wasn't. I'm glad he is dead. He was one of the reasons I changed schools, and I'm glad he died young and not surrounded by close ones. This may sound cruel, but I'm sure he wasn't nice, making me cry almost every day. I had intrusive thoughts about him and his actions for a long while after leaving the school. What did you think of these confessions? Did they make you reflect on your own relationships? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe for more.